Hi, today we are going to talk about facial expressions. I'm really excited to do this video because it's a request. I had someone leave me a comment and request that I do this. It is specifically for neurodivergent people who learn best through examples, because facial expression is a really difficult thing to nail down. And if your brain is processing information in a way that is different from most of the people that you're communicating with, it makes sense that this is an area where there would be a miscommunication. Today, we are going to talk about the spectrum between pleasant and cheesy, because it can be really easy to be read as cheesy when you were trying to be pleasant. So I'm going to give you some tips and examples to help you stay on the pleasant side. So the most important thing, anytime we're talking about facial expressions or nonverbal communication, is to point out that it is culturally determined and very subject to interpretation by the other person. And those are both out of individual people's control. For example, I'm from the Western United States, not even the West Coast. My grandpa was a cowboy. From the Western United States, when I go to the East Coast, I have to remind myself that no one is mad at me. It's just different. It's just kind of a different body language tone. And that's in the same country. So the farther I get from my home, the assumptions about body language change. For example, I did a semester abroad in college, and before we left, the professors did a little hour-long seminar about just things to be aware of. And the first thing they mentioned was basically fix your face because people are going to think you're flirting. Facial expressions, nonverbal communication, really, really culturally specific. So if you are far away from me geographically, take this with a big grain of salt. It won't translate as well in your area. And then there's just the reality of all communication, especially body language communication. You have no control of how the other person is going to take it. You just don't. For example, if you are in competition dance, there are some judges that think the choreographed vowels, like ooh, they like that. There are some judges who really like when everybody makes the same vowel shape with their mouth at the same time. There are other judges who will mark you down and call it cheesy. You have no control over that. We do our best to communicate clearly, and when we get feedback, we adjust. In general, pleasant turns into cheesy when the person observing interprets it as inauthentic or too much or too strong for the situation. So it is kind of out of your control, but let's talk about some things. Let's talk about what we look like when we smile. When we smile, I have to stop smiling. When we smile, our mouths go sideways and upwards. We show our top teeth. We don't usually show our bottom teeth. Now, I have pretty big upper teeth, so I don't usually show my bottom teeth when I smile at all. If you have thinner lips or you have smaller teeth, you may show more of your bottom teeth, and that doesn't make your smile inauthentic. It just means we have different faces. But if you show all of your teeth, like my sides are going up, this is gonna read as cheesy. This looks like a dental x-ray. Calm it down. Show mostly your upper teeth. If you want to try a closed lip smile, this is harder to pull off. A closed lip smile is generally a sign of either a less strong positive emotion or scheming. They read a little differently. And if you're doing something like corps de ballet work where everybody needs to be full on pleasant, even if you are self-conscious about your teeth or your braces or your smile, this for a long time is gonna read kind of creepy. It kind of gives Joker from Batman vibes. So if you want to do a closed lip smile, ask for some feedback, get some video, and do some self-evaluation. Because usually when we are very happy, we do not closed mouth smile. generally, when we are very happy, there are a couple of postural changes that happen. We are open through the upper body because we are open to the awesome thing that is happening. We are relaxed because this is a non-threatening situation. So if you smile and you tense up, it doesn't read as authentic. You have mixed messaging happening here. This comes in dance a lot because we are out of breath. We are out of breath. Dancing is hard. So make sure that you exhale. It helps to just bring all of that down. Also, laughing is an exhalation. It's just an audible exhalation. When we are trying to look pleasant, make sure you are exhaling. So I have 8 elements of artistry that I talk about on my website. I talk about a lot in my newsletter. They're kind of my jam. And anytime I need to work on how something is being interpreted, I just run down the list. So top of the list is breath, which we already talked about. Exhale, full exhalations. When you exhale, you get rid of the carbon dioxide, and excess carbon dioxide in your bloodstream triggers feelings of anxiety. So you'll do yourself a favor. And if all you do is inhale, we get like, even if you're pressing your shoulders down, you're up in here, and it reads false because my face is saying relaxed and my breathing is not. Makes a difference. Next on my list is somatic awareness. This gets tricky because with a lot of different types of neurodivergence, something that also comes along with that is reduced somatic awareness. So be fair to yourself and just whatever your level of awareness is, that's what we're working with. But when you're happy, we are relaxed, we are open to the situation. So where are places that you can relax? We talked about the shoulders, we talked about the upper body, the upper chest. How are the sides of your neck? If you were smiling so hard that this turns on, nope, you overachieved. Relax that. Another place that people often tense up and it makes their smile read as inauthentic is right here, like the hollow in the back of your neck. If you were tense there, it pulls you back just a little bit and it doesn't read well. So relax the top of the back of your neck. Let your head float. Your head will find its own home on top of your spine. Relax the top of your neck. Also, that tends to help when your eyeline or your chin or your upper body is a little bit off in arabesque. Top of the back of the neck. Next on my list is body carriage. Okay, so if we are talking ballet in particular, you are upright unless you're being a very specific character. So posture doesn't really play into this, but weight placement does. Remember, we talked about how when you are experiencing a pleasant emotion, you are open because you want to receive the experience. This means you're not going to put your weight back on your heels. That's not going to help your dancing. But you're going to be back just a little bit. You're not going to lean forward. Leaning forward is a more aggressive posture. So if I smile at you and then I come at you, again, we are sending a mixed message. Really, all this list are all the different ways our messaging might be contradicting itself. So body carriage for happy emotions in general, open, relaxed, slightly back, because you are accepting the happy experience. Next on the list is line. Line is a fantastic element of artistry. I have lots of things to say about it. It doesn't really come into play when we're talking about facial expressions, and it doesn't really help us look pleasant versus cheesy, so we're gonna skip it. But the next one is related, and it's eyeline. Eyeline is a really, really powerful communicator, which is so unfair because it's really culturally determined. How much is respectful eye contact is very different in different parts of the world. So again, pay attention to the culture that you are in or the culture that you are communicating with. But in general, when you smile at a person, you are looking at them. If we smile and look down, it reads as demure or perhaps shy or maybe you're remembering something, but it's a happiness that you are keeping to yourself. Even if you have all of the other markers of openness, a downward eye is going to read as your own personal happiness. Same with upwards. If you smile and look up, you are very often smiling again at a memory or an idea. If someone says something to you that's really funny, you might look up for a minute and then look back at them. We don't usually use it in, again, like core work or if you're competing a piece, unless you are specifically trying to communicate that you are smiling about a thought. We don't usually look up. So it's at the person. How long do you look at the person? You cannot look at the person too long or you give off creepy vibes. So I did a little research. Most places suggest between 3 to 5 seconds. Actually, the university studies that I found all said 4 to 5 seconds. And then I found a less academic source that said 3. So I kind of feel like you have a window there, but around 4 seconds. If you are making eye contact with someone for more than 5 seconds, it is going to start reading as aggressive in the United States. Another thing that correlates with eyeline is how open your eyes are. Now, I need to pause right here because this is a place where people who want to be racist can take this the wrong direction, and that is not okay. Whatever eye shape you have is beautiful and wonderful. I have abnormally round eyes. They are strange. This applies to every eye shape. It's just going to look different on my eyes because they're like, but in general, we talked about how when you are pleasant and happy, you are open to something. So you want to make sure that your eyes are slightly relaxed. You're going to wrinkle, but you don't really want your cheeks to feel cramped because we squint when we don't trust something. So as you smile, you're going to feel your cheeks rise. There's going to be some compression in the corners, but it's not a squint. So here we are, open, squint. All eye shapes are beautiful. The next element of artistry that's on my list is carving through three-dimensional space. That doesn't really apply here. Like, yeah, we take up three-dimensional space with our face, but the smile doesn't really change it. So moving on. Next on the list is dynamics. Dynamics can refer to a lot of different things. And in general, the more descriptive words you have to describe how you do a movement, the more dynamically expressive you can be. With smiling, it's kind of a small movement. There's only a couple ways to do it. So let's look at quick versus slow. If you smile quickly, it communicates a different thing than if you smile slowly. They both can be authentic, but a quick smile is like a gut reaction. Oh my, like, yes, definitely, I am happy about this. A slow smile is when something progressively makes you happier. Depending on the context or the character that you're working with, quick versus slow, either one of them can be read as authentic. It's just a question of which suits your situation best. Next on the list is musicality. I myself don't see a huge connection between musicality and facial expressions. If you disagree, let me know. And then the last of the 8 elements of artistry that I currently use on a regular basis is acting. So acting, that's what we're doing. Like, nobody cares if your feet hurt. Look happy anyway. We act all the time. But if you are acting in response to another person or in response to a change that happens on stage, how quickly you respond is going to impact how well that reads to your audience. I would ask for guidance from a peer, from a director, maybe get some video and go back and analyze it yourself, because the appropriate speed is not something I can tell you. If you are neurodivergent, particularly if you are on the autism spectrum, You might have a tendency to memorize this list and then go through it in your head. Bump, 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 bump. Please don't do that because it's going to take too long. It's going to take too long and then your reaction is going to seem fake. It is fake. It's called acting, but you get the idea. So my advice to you is go through this video, find the things that feel easy or feel authentic or feel like you are already doing, and give yourself credit for those. Give yourself credit. It's very important to recognize the wins. And then pick one thing that you want to work on, just one. Because you are already keeping track of your choreography. You are already keeping track of the corrections you've gotten on your choreography. You are already keeping track of your spacing. You have a lot going on. Just pick one thing and work on making that more habitual. And if that isn't getting the impact that you were hoping for, try a different thing. But if you go through the list in your head, you will slow down your own response time. And then it doesn't matter how perfectly you hit every checkbox, just the timing will make it read inauthentically. So those are my ideas on how to make sure that your facial expressions read as pleasant and not cheesy. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if it was. Yay! If it wasn't, okay, what would have been more helpful? I would love to be more helpful. Also, what facial expressions would you like me to do next? Sad, angry, scared? What are some facial expressions that you use in your performance? Or what are some facial expressions you're told you're giving during class? Like if someone is saying, you look disinterested, and you're like, this is my face. Eye contact often plays into that, as does tension in the shoulders. Anyway, what would you like me to think about next? Because I really love breaking this stuff down. If you are interested in learning more about the 8 elements of artistry that I look at on a regular basis, I have a newsletter, a monthly newsletter, where I talk about a ballet technique tip and how it coordinates with an element of artistry. You can sign up for that on my website, geekyballerina.com. I have a lot of teaching resources on my website, so I hope you will go and explore. As always, I hope you have a really great class.